This right here is the all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado 6500 dually. This is the big boy Class 6 truck, and Chevrolet just unveiled their Class 4, 5, and 6 medium-duty trucks, including the 4500 and 5500. These trucks replace the Kodiak medium-duty trucks that were around 10 years ago. And this video brings you everything you ever wanted to know about the new medium-duty truck. I'm talking about the engine, chassis, suspension, everything, weight ratings, coming up right now. Under the hood is a medium-duty version of the 6.6-liter Duramax V8 turbo diesel, and the rating on this particular application is 350 horsepower, which is actually class-leading in this segment, and 700 pound-feet of torque, which is not class-leading. Behind the engine is a choice of several transmissions, including a power takeoff option, and this particular truck can come with either a two-wheel drive system or a 4x4 system, and the four-wheel drive truck is actually about 3 inches higher. Yeah, tell me more about the engine.
Yeah, the Duramax diesel, it is the same engine started from that we use in our 2500, 3500.
L5P?
L5P,
okay.
Yep, this will be the L5D.
Okay.
It's got some revisions because it's about 14,000 pounds. We have to dyno cert versus chassis cert on our other products. So to do that, there's more stringent emissions requirements. So we've revised the turbocharger. We've actually got a smaller turbocharger on this engine, which would seem contradictory, but it's a benefit at the low end, which being dyno cert, we have lower horsepower and torque than our 2500, 3500. We're at 350 and 700. So for launch, which is really more important in this class than our lighter class vehicles, we've gone to the lower turbo, which helps launch performance greatly, and we give up a little bit at the top end, which isn't so important in this class.
Right.
So turbo is different, injectors are different to be more tuned to this L5D engine. Other than that, it's a very similar to our tried and true L5P engine.
So the steering angle is really important in this class, right?
It is, yeah. In the 4x2, we've got a 50-degree turn on the wheel. Steering angle, which basically, you can, with the hood tilted, you can turn this wheel, you can basically step right into the opening and be right up on the engine. You can do all your checks very easily. You can do a lot of maintenance activities without having to remove any parts.
What's this
battery?
module?
This is a battery. Batteries are behind there.
Okay.
So you can just pull that cover off and access your batteries, and then we've got the jump start stud outside the box, so you easy access, you don't have to take the cover off.
The most interesting thing for me is actually the interior, because this truck shares the cab construction with a 1-ton, 3500, and also 3/4-ton trucks in the GM lineup, and it's very familiar. The same seats, basically very similar dashboard layout, except there is several auxiliary switches here down below for upfitters, but overall a very familiar place to be.
So we get, that's the benefit. We're carrying over a lot of the features and functionality that you could get on, infotainment and Wi-Fi and wireless charging, navigation, OnStar, a lot of the features that the customers are familiar with, you'll be able to get in this product. We worked a lot on making sure the cab would survive in this environment, different duty cycle, not as much twist with the straight rails. It's a lot stiffer, so there's more input into the cab. So we spent a lot of time and energy making sure the body mount areas were reinforced and that we could pass our requirements for this class of vehicle.
There are two things that surprised me about this new medium-duty truck. Number one is the DEF tank location. It's still hanging below the frame on the passenger side. And the second thing is the maximum gross combined weight rating, which Chevrolet says is 30,000 pounds in certain configurations of this new Silverado 6500. And 30,000 pounds combined weight means this truck will not be able to tow a 30,000 pound trailer, a weight that Ford and Ram 1-ton trucks are currently capable of pulling. So that's a kind of a weird surprise for me. I expected more towing capacity, but of course this truck is more about gross vehicle weight or payload capacity in this case, and that capacity goes up to almost 23,000 pounds.
Maximum GVWR we can go to is 22,900 pounds. And we actually will go down all the way to 15,000 pounds on the 4500. We will derate that truck for various states, municipalities, cities, or even a fleet that has to drive over areas that may have seasonal road restrictions. So we can derate that truck so they can meet those requirements.
How important is towing on this part of a segment?
It varies from customer to customer. You'll have some customers that will tow a utility trailer with a skid steer on it. You'll have some customers that may tow maybe a generator behind them. It's going to vary from customer to customer. So some will tell you it's very important, some will tell you it isn't. We have GCWRs, depending on the transmission that you put in here, either up to 26,000 pounds or up to 30,000 pounds.
This truck offers up to 7 different cab to rear axle lengths and also several different extensions to the frame past the rear axle. So a lot of options for upfitters.
We've got 7 wheelbases in the 4x2, cab to axles on regular cabs 60 CA all the way up to 243. And then we've got 3 wheelbases and CAs on the crew cab.
Okay.
And then depending on wheelbase you select, we've got 5 options of center line or rear axle to end of frame available from low 40s up to 91 inches. So on the long wheelbase with an optional axle of frame, we can get up to a 26-foot body on this product. This is the multi-leaf, which is our base offering, front and rear multi-leaf. But then we are going to offer from the factory, which is a first air suspension that will use a engine-driven air compressor. Unlike most, you'll see use a 12-volt electric air compressor, which is takes longer to get your pressure up, less reliable. So we went to the engine-driven air compressor. So you'll get that right out of the factory with your typical airbags, and you'll have a dump switch in the cab, so you can raise and lower the pressure. Say if you're at a dock and you're not at the dock height, you can lower the pressure and it'll lower the rear of the vehicle to get you aligned with the dock.
But how much variance is there?
It's from full emptied up is probably 6 to 8 inches.
How about rear axle ratios? Are there options?
Yeah, there's I think we've got 5 rear axle
different
ratios in the program. Yeah. Yep.
So what about fuel tanks? 2 optional 2,
Yep.
or
2.
do you have the kind of the capacity?
Yeah, you can get midship like this one is. You can get midship on its own, which is a 25-gallon tank.
Okay.
Then you can get a behind the axle tank, which is 40 gallons, and then you can get them in combination for 65.
So here at the front, we kept the same Chevrolet bold look, but you'll notice we have a hollow bow tie here. We call it a flow tie, and it was actually designed to give us more airflow into the truck, into the engine compartment for cooling and power, etc. You'll also see that we have our large extendable trailer style mirrors. Works really well with bodies on the outside of the truck. They're available in heated and non-heated versions. A standard step on the side of the truck. You get 1 on each side with a regular cab, 2 on each side with the crew cab. The competition doesn't do that.
When is it going to be available? Have you announced pricing?
We have not announced pricing. I expect pricing to come out here this summer. I expect the dealers to start being able to put orders in this summer. The anticipation is we're going to start shipping this truck at the tail end of this year.
I think the look of this truck is instantly recognizable as a Chevrolet, yet it's different from their 1-ton trucks and 3/4-ton trucks. And I actually do like that they're using this flow-through Chevy bow tie symbol to get a little bit more cooling and a little bit more durability out of this powertrain. The truck is going to go on sale at the very end of 2018, and pricing will be available this summer. Go back to tfltruck.com for a lot more news, views, and real-world reviews, and of course, a lot more coverage from the 2018 Work Truck Show.